Hello, we're back with some more Canadian Highlander. Today we have Matt against George. Matt on Nadu Combo, George on Paradox Academy, so we've got a full-on combo off. And to help us with commentary today, we have James joining us. Hello, James.
Hi Nathan, how's it going?
Yeah, doing all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, I can't complain. Nearly Christmas.
Oh, yeah,
Nearly
so
time to
excited.
finish work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're both pretty much done with work already, so like it's great.
Yeah, very
Go into
close.
holiday mode.
Exactly.
Do you want to tell us about Matt's deck?
Yes, so Matt is playing a Nadu combo deck. Um, just trying to it can kill you with creature lines, just go on the kind of the basic creature plan, but the main goal is to just go nuts with Nadu, draw your whole deck, put all your lands into play. Some crazy loops with endurances and Orcish Bowmasters that, if they do happen, I'm going to have to try and remember because it's been a while since he explained it to me. Points for Matt are the three Moxen, Emerald, Sapphire, and Pearl, along with a natural order, just to try and push everything through, as it were.
Yeah, very nice. And then George is on Paradox Academy, so George is planning to get his rock out, as he likes to say about his deck. His points are Tinker, Ancient Tomb, Mana Vault, Tolarian Academy, and Soul Ring. It's a combo deck. You're playing a load of artifacts. You're making a heck of a lot of mana, and going infinite with well, there's a bazillion ways to go infinite in this deck, but a lot of them revolve around Tolarian Academy getting a lot of mana. So that's the plan. Both of them are just going to be racing to win cons. I don't think there's that much interaction from either of these decks, to be honest.
I think there's a little bit from Matt's deck, but it's mainly directed towards creature decks and stopping dying. There's things like Prismatic Ending, March for the Riding Light, Abrupt Decay, that type of
Right,
thing.
okay.
But not
Removal
like,
rather than counter spell stopping combos. So we'll get kicked off then. It's not a bad land to start with.
Or a bad one drop. One of the ones you quite frequently would just tutor for with the Saga anyway. It's a protect key. So.
Yeah,
A good start for George.
pretty strong.
And I'm not quite sure who's favoured in this one. I'm far from an expert combo player.
So
George
am also not a combo expert, but I would suggest that George is favoured because George can get to the combo faster than Matt can. I would guess.
Yes, that's probably fair. I don't think. I think speaking to Matt, the fastest they can do it is turn 2 reliably.
Okay. Oh wow. Right. Fair enough.
I think it is possible. They can. I mean, that does involve Moxens and Nardus and a lot of things being in hand. So I don't think it's a consistent turn 2. But there is, like we talked about, a lot more of a creature development plan just around like Matt's build. So things like just he has got some interesting, like, not quite silver bullets, but things like opposition agent, which will turn off a lot of what George is trying to get going. Scavenging Ooze is stopping things looping from the graveyard, which is sometimes important for artifact decks with the recursion. Has got a Haywire Might, like things like that for interaction.
Okay.
So there's
a bit more there to disrupt. And we've
yeah,
just
I'd
seen
imagine
an
he'd play
Inquisition as well. So
yes,
it's
so there is hand
thing.
attack. Yeah, there is hand attack, and George will have not no interaction, certainly not no interaction, but far less than Matt will. So if like George's hand there was a bunch of cool stuff, and I think he was leaning quite heavily on that wheel. So he'll have to like catch up quite a bit now that wheel has gone. Like Mana Vault's obviously really powerful. Like mana is sorted. George is not lacking that. We've confirmed it. But that wheel was something he really wanted to be able to refill and start using that mana for something.
Yep. It's also dangerous just giving Matt a new 7 cards sometimes.
Yes. Especially as it looks like Matt only has 2 of the 4 colours here, which is an island and an underground sea, I think that is. Yes. We're always tapping this Mana Vault. This Mana Vault will never ever stay tapped. It's a Manifold Key and a Voltaic Key.
So many manas. George could just get there here.
Like, it is potential, depending on what his one unknown is. Yeah. If his one unknown is a tutor or some kind of card draw advantage, then potentially a lot of value. It is a tutor. It's not quite a win the game now tutor, but if he's got 2 keys, which he does, that's really powerful with what's it called? Sensitive Divining Top.
It's
Where
top.
you can
Yeah, it's going to have to be top.
you can you tap it, untap it, tap it again. So you draw 2 cards, and the second one you redrawing the top, which you play again. So that it is with Paradox Engine, it is an infinite draw engine. As Paradox Engine on top of what he's already got on board, that is infinite card draw.
That's just a win.
Yeah. Whereas here it's just drawing extra cards a turn, which is the thing we've identified George is missing. Right, he's got his mana. Just needs to start getting some cards through from it.
What's this Mycosynth lattice going to be?
That's an excellent question.
We don't need anything else.
It might not be anything right now. You have to choose. You activate it to turn it into something, right? So it might just be I'm going to have this sitting here as a land for a little while and make a decision later on what it needs to turn into, because 2 keys is probably enough keys for now. A mana vault with 2 keys is probably enough mana vaults for now, and another top. It's a slow second top, but when you're already drawing like George is, it probably isn't necessary to have a second top either. This is you can just see the power of an Academy deck. We were speaking earlier about how fast George can go on an updraw. He has made another key though, so he just wants to keep untapping. Passing.
Oh, Matt's
that's
missed.
bad.
That's
So Matt does have plenty of stuff to do on 1 and 2, but a lot of it is green. And with only having basic island and underground sea, that's rough. So it's not quite shields down. Obviously, I don't think there's any counter spells. I'm just going to double check. There's no counter spells in Matt's deck. No, he did used to run Pact of Negation, but it looks like that's not in here anymore.
okay.
So it does look like he has pretty much free reign, looking at trying to find the instants and the flash threats on Matt's board. Does look like George has probably got pretty much free reign to try and go for it this turn. And like George and Matt know each other quite well and have played each other quite a lot, so I suspect George might know that as well.
Yeah, they're both aware that this is very close to a win. They're just okay. Well,
yeah, this is even closer to a win. You can hear Matt trying to like do the lines in his own head as they chat this through. So they obviously have.
To be fair, Matt is kind of like telling George, so you're going to get this, right? You're going to do this, right? You're going to get this. Yeah. George, to be fair to George is just going, no, I'm just going to play my game.
yeah. George has played this deck a lot, and it is a complicated deck. You can't just like pick this up and be like, I'm going to 4-0 with this busted combo deck. So like they've got a lot of reps in and know what they're doing.
I know I was saying to you earlier that I seem to be playing George every single week at the moment. It's quite funny. So I'm starting to learn the deck. I still wouldn't be able to pilot it.
No, the question is whether you just... I suppose you don't have the ability to just shove in a collector roof just to make everyone miserable. But
let's splash green.
It's so rough because so many of the things that George has, even his interaction is an artifact. So collector roof just houses a lot of it. Ottawara's in there now as kind of a nod to that. Game on over for mana issues and
that was rough from Matt, but George did get there. Sahili's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's like we did say there's not really any ways for George to win outside the combo. Very occasionally, he might, go a bit nuts with an Urza Saga, make a bunch of constructs and you down, or make a shed load of servos and go that way. Retrofit a Foundry value time rather than combo. So there are lines there. They're not as common as I've made infinite mana and drawn my entire deck and you're dead in one way or another.
Yeah, it's just super slow. Like I think it's a case if you switch to that, if you've been stopped, curtailed enough, but I think even then there's just more options of how to go infinite in the deck. There's just so many things that do it.
Yeah, it's not quite as straightforward as the slushy deck that Kieran has, where you tend to know quite quickly if if the combo line's not working, you need to focus on creatures.
Yes.
And once you swap over the track to go on a creature beatdown, it's much more efficient and effective because he's got things like Baraghois and Vagabonds.
Yeah. Thinking about it, I don't think George would ever necessarily go, right, I'm going to switch my plan. It's more just a case of, if I've got a load of things on board, then I'm just going to start attacking with them if the line's open. It's not a case of switch plan completely, I don't think.
The aggro deck does have like
Yeah.
silly 2020 at large moments. So
It is interesting because obviously there's a lot of heavily pointed cards in George's deck, whereas Matt's deck is very much like the points list is kind of a mid-range points list. We're going on the 3 Moxen, like having identified that as the area they want to focus on.
Yep.
Whereas a lot of combo decks, you do see a lot of points spent on tutors, and that's not the line Matt's gone.
106.
But a lot of the creature tutors aren't heavily pointed anyway. Eladamri's Call is 0 points, Green Suns is 0 points. Got Natural Order obviously, which is one of the more busted ones. So like maybe it feels like they don't need the things like maybe the Demonic Tutors because they are playing black. Well, it is Black Splash because they just got access to all of the green ones, which is an interesting difference between the two. Although having spoken to Matt about the deck, they were saying they wouldn't be super surprised if Nadu ended up being pointed. Just because of its combo potential.
It seems like it should be. It's pretty silly.
Yeah, I was watching another game that Matt was playing this past weekend, and someone was kind of had the removal spell for Nadu, and it didn't matter because Matt just comboed off at instant speed in response to the removal spell, and I'm like,
Difficult
okay.
to disrupt, right?
Yeah, exactly. But this is a much more impressive start from Matt. Like the mana dork to start accelerating mana, fixing hand attack to get rid of the most scary thing. Like it's obviously a good start from George to go on rings, but the downside of the Mishras is that it doesn't tap for non-artifact stuff, and there is still a lot of that in the deck. There you can see there's a Capsize there, there's Echo Vions. And it looks from this hand like George is leaning somewhat on this Mystic Forge to try and catch up on cards, draw more lands, keep grinding card advantage. There's no obvious tutors or combo lines here, so.
Echo of Eons. Don't choose that one.
No, I would be surprised if that one went into the
you can have that one, I'll take this one.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable shout there.
Then I'll slam Agent and Shaman.
And in the right deck, I always like to think of Fauna Shaman as a 0 points demonic tutor, because if you've just got this kind of creature-based kind of combo, even not combo, just a good mid-range deck that has creature-based answers to everything, it's just really strong.
Yeah, toolbox style decks too, right? It's just go and get what you need.
Yeah, I mean, we've had Jeffo's Abzan Delirium deck on here before, and for me, that Fauna Shaman is almost a kill on sight, because it just tutors up almost any effect you want when I'm playing it against Jeffo, because everything is attached to some type of creature. The fact that it gets grist will never not annoy me, I'm not going to lie. It's just a small pet peeve of mine.
Yeah. I've multiple times gone, wait, what? Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's really sad, because grist is such a cool card design, and every time it beats me, I'm like, that's not fair. That's not what I can't.
That's not a creature.
But this is a good position for Matt to be in a lot here. Getting the extra point of damage in from the Exalted is obviously nice. This Haywire Might is just a silver bullet against the scariest thing that George tries to do. Defense grid not super impactful against Nadu. It can go off at instant speed, but it's not particularly trying to. It's definitely here more for control and counterspell matchups.
Right.
So,
yep.
Matt doing a lot better here.
Johnny, I need you to win this match.
Than he was. Matt confirming he wants to win this match. That's good to know.
No. Matt was telling Johnny that Johnny needed to win their match because for Matt's I don't know, points at the end.
Possibly.
Yeah, standings.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's probably actually for trying to qualify for year end, and Johnny was playing a contender, maybe. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Good.
And not being a game down here, Matt clearly feeling the pressure, but it's good. In a good spot to turn this one around and make it 1-1, I think. George needs some help. And this is a good example, though. Matt does have this creature line. This Fauna Shaman is just beating down at the minute. For 4.
That's quite exalted.
Yep, that's very exalted. And this again, this is where it's been somewhat easy for Matt to assess that this isn't really a combo draw. I have this fantastic like safety net in this Haywire Might, and I just have a really like scary clock. And George's mana is slow because of this Mishra's.
Yep.
So Candelabra helping, but without an academy or anything like that, it's not going super nuts. Looking for a brainstorm to dig him out of it. Plus, you get to hide your hand, which is always nice after having to reveal it.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't know anymore. It's a secret again.
Yeah, it's annoying.
But there are some like I don't want to say dead cards, but Capsize doesn't feel great here when you don't have infinite mana. Like as a fair interaction spell, it's pretty rough.
Yep.
It's just cast artifact spells.
Yeah, you can't pay costs either, like with the mana leaks and whatnot.
Yeah, so one of the main reasons that Mishra's isn't pointed is it just doesn't do anything. If you're not casting artifact spells. It's not even a Power Stone land, you know, it doesn't even do abilities or anything like that.
Ensnaring Bridge. Okay.
That is a cool one, although I don't believe this is going to work great
Yeah.
for Exalted.
Exalted kind of
Yeah.
gets around it, sadly.
Yeah.
So George is on 3 lands in hand, so that means that anything that attacks must be
Happens in attacks,
smaller than that.
right?
It can't be bigger, I think. So if Shaman could be a 3-drop right now, I think,
yes.
instead of
Yeah,
attack.
got you. Oh, it's
And
power.
the
Yeah, it's power.
Yeah. And the Exalted will trigger after that Ensnaring Bridges, you know, checking. I
Yeah,
don't know what the technical term for that is.
It prevents being able to declare it as an attacker, but once it's been declared as an attacker, it doesn't get removed from combat. So
Yeah.
they are calling a judge on this just to get confirmation.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's good to make sure if you don't, especially if you're not certain. That's what judges are there for, right?
Yeah.
So it's good to get.
yeah, reminder for everybody watching: it's not embarrassing to have to call a judge. Just call them, even if you're pretty confident in something. If there's any doubt whatsoever between the two of you, then call a judge.
Make sure.
Thank you very much.
Because that is quite important here, right? That's a massive, complete change in Matt's game plan if he can't attack with his Fallen Shaman anymore. So
Yes.
he wants to make 100% sure that this is still a legitimate plan when it comes to it.
Honestly, I'll attack with Haywire Might for free.
Oh. And this is the nice thing about the Silver Bullet being Haywire Might. That's still getting in for damage. Matt's clearly
Activate.
lined up something he wants to do with this Fallen Shaman now, which has been a death right, but still can get in for damage with
I'll get.
Haywire Might as a opposition agent is another good, like we talked about it earlier, the good Silver Bullet.
Yep.
Just have doesn't even want to flash it out. No point in pretending when you shoot it for it. Let's just get it out there. There's no way for George to get around it, and this is starting to look quite powerful as like just a lock. Like, hopefully George can empty his hand a bit to try and protect against this. But even Exalted on 0/1s is
Yeah.
still 2 points damage.
Still got a
You've no
one.
confidence
Yeah,
damage,
exactly.
right?
I saw red that,
Yeah.
George. Don't worry. I
Like,
just.
the worst part is I know what's on top because of the brainstorm, and it doesn't get me out of this situation.
So George has a fetch land, but Oppo agent is there, but
Yeah.
George wants to shuffle the deck.
Oh, because of the brainstorm he had
Yeah.
last turn. Yeah.
I know what cards are in your hand. Oh, I know.
So we did say at the beginning, like, there's not tons of interaction, but when you get the right ones in the right places, Matt has some killer silver. An opposition agent is a killer Silver Bullet against a lot of combo decks.
Yes. Yeah.
I've cast an opposition agent into a Gift Ungiven before, and it might have been the best feeling I've had in Magic. It did feel pretty nuts.
There's two
Um,
triggers.
I would like to.
I think this is pretty rough. George just shuffling cracking the fetch just to shuffle, even though it's giving Matt a land.
Something.
Yeah, the hits are Trop Island, Tundra, or Bolt Island.
Tundra, please. Thank you very much. Turn your deck plus one enough to not have to worry about it.
Nothing quite like sacrificing a land to give your opponent a land.
I should
Yeah, I'm paying a life for the privilege.
Just to shuffle your library.
Yeah.
do you, yeah.
What else would a card need to have on it to just be like a 0 mana shuffle your library?
It's greater than.
Greater than. Okay.
0 mana shuffle your library, draw a card. Is that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of something that would be remotely playable, and I don't know what it is, but it's not anything. Still 3 cards in hand, I think, for George. So opposition agent can get in 5. Good attack with all 3 creatures for 1 more point of damage. I'm not sure how much that matters.
Attack.
Matt deciding it doesn't,
Yeah, so 3 becomes 5. That's 4.
which is reasonable. I don't know. It's not like he's playing to a bolt in his redless deck, so the extra points of damage probably aren't super important.
So this is
Oh,
Yeah,
Orm's Chant.
Play this land.
Hurt. Attack lethal.
Make a treasure token.
Nice.
yeah, okay.
It's interesting with that Orm's Chant. So Matt used to be on the Nadu Seeker walk list that was playing Time Walk as well, and
Yep.
Spell Seeker for the
God
points.
blessed me. Top deck
And
14.
just decided that not only was Nadu probably just a better combo deck than Seeker Walk was, but Orm's Chant does a pretty good imitation of Time Walk when your main plan is just, you know,
2 lands, mana door.
just get to your next turn
Yeah,
without dying. Like, it does a pretty good imitation of it. So that one doesn't cost 6 points either.
Strange.
In the right type of deck, if Time Walk's in more kind of tempo-y decks, so obviously there to get people dead, whereas in that deck it's just to take infinite turns, right? That's the plan. But who needs to take infinite turns? Just take one more, and then next turn you'll combo off and win with Nadu, so it's fine.
That's what Niall does with his check pile. It's got Time Walk in there, and it's wrecked me in games. I'm like, wait, okay, yeah, you just get to hit me with that Baragoyf a couple of times, and that's going to be enough.
So it was really funny. I played Niall this last weekend, and he had 3 cards in hand, and I knew 2 of them were Force of Negation and Oko.
Okay.
So I cast Dig Through Time, being like, yes, he can counter this, but it's going to take the Force and the Oko out of his hand, so it's going to be pretty good for me. It's not the end of the world at all, and I've still got cards in hand. And he ended up pitching the Time Walk to the Force of Negation,
Wow.
which was incredible. Oh dear. But I have to thank him because he also introduced me to that. I can't remember what it is, the Weeping Angel card that's from Doctor Who, which really wants to go in my mid-tempo deck.
Weeping Angel.
And it wasn't called that, I don't
Oh,
think.
right.
Maybe it was actually. Yeah, it's like a flash flyer that stops being a creature if your opponent casts a creature that turn. Like, it's really weird. But I just want blue-black flash threats that get people dead. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I'd like to include that. And it's got first strike, and when it deals combat, you exile. No, you shuffle it in rather than exile, I think. So it's like a nice kind of removal spell at instant speed a lot of the time as well, which is kind of cool.
And it was rock, mana. Yeah.
Weird.
Anyway, back to the game we're actually watching. Duress on a Tinker feels like an obvious choice. Again, we're looking at George's hand with a lot of mana. I think there was a couple of talismans. That is a One Ring though, so even getting with the Tinker has left George with a really powerful card advantage spell to start using.
But
all of
I
his
mean,
mana.
Tinker just wins the game super
Yes,
quick. So
100%. Yeah, I'm not remotely doubting Matt's choice there. It's just unfortunate there was 2 really good hits. Hoping for a Thoughtseize off the top, maybe just to deal with that One Ring as well.
it's the best way to get rid of it. Oh,
Oh dear.
good job, man.
Keep it outside. Just martial arts in my graveyard. The rest of it, that's in play.
Just a quick fix of this. And the
Are we
various
gonna? No, we haven't. We've shuffled the card that we've scribed to the bottom in.
All is good though.
Oh well.
Oh, from the
Mulligan, yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It's not ideal. Ought to call a judge when stuff like that happens, to be honest.
Yeah. It's easy to forget though.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, but still kind of, at least still cutting and stuff, and it's hopefully not going to be too impactful. But yes, that known card should still be on the bottom 100%. So the second friendly reminder to always be happy to
Yes,
call
exactly.
a judge.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of array when you're trying to play a game of Magic.
A Wall of Omens, love it.
Yes, classic. And this is some of the kind of, we talked about Matt's deck being a little slower than the Academy deck. This is just making sure you don't die to some 1 mana 2 powered red or green creature.
Yeah, all those creatures George is playing.
Yes, maybe not the match it was designed for. We'll give it that, but still has a role to play. There's also a nice amount of freedom at being able to just shock this Hollow Fountain and not worry about it too much. So this is a lot of mana. Bunch of fair mana from George. Nothing too busted or unreasonable, but it's a lot. To have a turn 3 One Ring, with at least 1 mana open after the end of it is somewhat scary.
It looks like a commander start with just Signet,
Yeah.
Talisman.
Just missing Landsoul and Signet just to make the other 3 players glow. A classic start. Spell Sky? Okay.
That's
This is
not overly impactful, right?
no, that's a protection spell, obviously for Nadu in a different matchup.
Yep.
Like I can't think of any particular bloody hell. Yeah, Soaring's a good one too. So it is a commander start. You were completely right the first time.
Sol Ring's a little late to the party, but this is a ridiculous amount of mana.
You have protection.
Yeah, and one ring to start going. This is where Matt really wants that that Haywire Mites or
Open.
There aren't many ways to get rid of it, but yeah, Haywire
No.
Might does it.
no, and this is I don't know how many times we need to see George's Academy deck do powerful things for people like, no, maybe I just have to put this Collector Reef back in again. It's not in the deck right now, but this is just annoying because even the times it randomly hoses the Skull Clamp equips and cracking my clue or my treasure to do something.
Oh, we do have a tutor.
Tutors are good, and there's 2 protection elements. So if one half of something is in Matt's hand, then that's obviously good. If he's got the Nadu or he's got the Nomads on core, can tutor up the other one and try and pop off next turn. The other line you can see he's pulled Haywire Might to the front. The other line might be just get this Haywire Might and exile something scary.
I don't know, trying to slow George down seems a bit of a... I don't know. I guess George has only got 2 cards in hand, but...
Yeah, it does look like he's gone for Nomads on core though,
Yeah.
which suggests he's the plan is Matt wants to combo next turn. So there's
But
either a
it has been declared that the Ether Spell Bomb is being used as well,
Ah.
and now the
just
One Ring
for a
goes
card
crazy.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that game, like, I lost to the Strip Hand Waste, and like that, I accept this. It's a pointed card, and like my deck's 4 color. If I'm not dying to 2 Wastelands, something is wrong with the format.
That's a good attitude to have in a 4-color deck. If you're not dying to a Wasteland and Strip Mine, then if you're upset about dying to Wasteland and Strip Mine, then
Nothing happening otherwise.
that's probably
It's
not
the
reasonable.
price you pay
Yep.
for playing...
That's a good one.
George
four-
pays no
four
prices at
colours.
all. Just draws all the most busted cards in his deck after being dressed on turn 1.
Oh, I didn't even notice that sneak onto the battlefield.
Yeah, that cheeky little Academy.
I love how George just goes, I'll play my land for turn. This land
just a land
specifically.
Don't worry about it. It's just a land. It's all fine. There's 3 in hand. If any one of these is a tutor or something like that, then this has to be game over. I would have thought.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, I imagine this gets Paradox Engine, and we're off to the races. One Ring and Paradox Engine is an absurd combination of cards. Still with plenty of mana to start casting spells as well. The only way out of this is if George has literally 0 spells to cast in hand,
Yeah.
and then Matt can combo off next turn. But you have to imagine he wouldn't take this line if that was the case.
I could get.
There we go.
Right, we do have the engine. Let's see how good this card is.
This is the classic as well. This is what gives the deck its name now. Paradox Engine's not a super new card, obviously, but it's a modern card design. So there have been Academy decks beforehand, and this was good enough to give itself the name of the deck.
Yes.
So have to assume just so much mana and drawing an extra card every time.
1, 2.
I remember playing Commander against somebody who played a Paradox Engine, and I went, "You shouldn't be playing that." And then the conversation started of, "Wait, why?" And I went, "Look, we're going to continue this game, and you're about to see why this card's not okay in Commander."
Yeah.
And it did not take long.
No, it wasn't too long before that card was banned, right? A year, maybe, year and a half.
It wasn't long at all.
George definitely starting to pop off now, though. Basalt Monolith is actually another really good one. Trinket Mage just finds another spell, and we'll just keep chaining this into that, into the other.
Yes, top in the 1 ring.
I don't even know it might not even matter what George gets here, to be honest. He's just keeps casting. I feel like once you've got the 1 ring and like 3 mana rocks and a Paradox engine.
Yeah, it's over. Like the only way that it's not over is George has got 3 lands in hand and draws like 7 lands off the 1
Yeah.
ring.
And Matt has played this deck enough to realise where we are.
Yeah. So real easy to edit because live tutors didn't change that much, but combo
No.
wins. Your favourite type of magic, there, James. Combo.
Obviously. The purest form, as Garfield intended.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll catch you next time.